Have you ever sat alone in a quiet room and softly whispered to God, "Why am I alone now?" Have you ever watched people slowly drift out of your life? Even when you try to be kind, patient, and loving, loneliness can feel like punishment. It can feel like rejection. And many times, we believe God is taking people away from us. But sometimes, God is not taking anything away. Sometimes He is making space. This story is about loneliness, faith, and the quiet way God prepares a heart by calming the world around it. Please stay until the end because the truth in this story may change how you understand your own silent seasons. In a quiet countryside village where narrow dirt roads curved between small houses and wide open fields moved like gentle waves in the wind, there lived an old woman named Martha. She walked slowly and spoke softly, yet her heart carried a deep, steady warmth. Her home was small, with warm wooden walls and a simple roof. But anyone who entered felt a sense of peace there. Martha believed that God lives wherever kindness lives, and she did her best to make her home a place where kindness never ran out. There was a time when Martha's life had been full of sound and movement. Her husband was strong and cheerful, a man who laughed easily and worked hard. Their son, Daniel, was curious and full of energy, always asking questions about the world and about God. Together, they worked the land, shared meals at a small table, prayed before sleep, and dreamed simple dreams. Martha often thanked God for giving her enough, not wealth, not luxury, just enough love to feel complete. Then one winter, sickness came quietly. Her husband grew weaker with each passing day. Martha stayed beside him through long nights, holding his hand, feeding him gently, and whispering prayers she had learned as a child. Sometimes she begged God to heal him. Other times, she simply asked God to stay near. When her husband passed away one early morning, music, the house suddenly felt too large and too silent. Martha cried alone, her face buried in her hands, asking God why love had to hurt so deeply. Yet, even in that grief, something unexpected happened. Alongside the pain, she felt a quiet calling. It was as if God was reminding her that His music presence had not left with her husband. The silence hurt, but it was not empty. After her husband's death, Martha's body grew slower. Her hands trembled when she worked, her back bent under years of labor. Still, she continued her days with prayer. She believed that God does not give strength for the whole future, only for the day in front of us. When Daniel grew older, he left the village to work in the city. He promised to return often. At first, he did. He came home with lively stories, small gifts, and laughter that filled the house again. But as time passed, his visits became shorter and less frequent. Eventually, months went by without him coming at all. Martha learned to eat her evening meals alone. She learned the quiet sound of the wind outside her window. Some nights, loneliness pressed heavily on her chest, and she whispered to God, "Is this what remains for me?" But each morning, she still rose before the sun, washed her face, lit a small lamp, folded her hands, and thanked God for life. She never asked God to take the loneliness away. She only asked to be useful. Martha cooked simple food, cleaned her small home, and worked in her garden, where she felt closest to God as her hands touched the soil. Children passing by often stopped at her gate. She welcomed them with bread, fruit, and stories. She listened patiently to their small worries, believing that God listens the same way to every heart, no matter how small. Some villagers wondered why she gave so much while living alone. Martha would simply smile and say, "Loneliness is not empty when God is present." Even animals seemed drawn to her home. Birds rested on her roof. A thin old dog waited outside her door each day. Martha gently patted its head and said, "God sends those who need love." One summer, Daniel returned from the city looking tired and restless. He watched his mother cooking, serving others, and giving what little strength she had. Confused and uneasy, he said, "Mother, why do you work so hard? People will forget you. You should rest." Martha looked at him with soft eyes. "My son," she said gently, "God has not forgotten me, and as long as I can give love, I am not alone." Daniel did not understand. To him, loneliness meant failure. He believed a full life was measured by noise and company, not by quiet service. That same evening, a poor traveler came asking for food. Martha welcomed him without hesitation. Before leaving, the man blessed her and said, "May God return your kindness when your strength is gone." Daniel heard the words, but their meaning had not yet reached his heart. As the months passed, Martha's health began to weaken. Her steps grew shorter, her nights grew longer. Some evenings, loneliness returned with force and tears fell freely. But instead of becoming bitter, Martha prayed more deeply, trusting that God was shaping her heart in ways she could not yet see. One winter, she became very ill. She could no longer stand, no longer cook. When the villagers heard, something unexpected happened. People came from every direction. Women brought soup and medicine. Children sat beside her bed, gently fanning her. Men stood outside her house, praying in silence. In that moment, Martha realized none of her kindness had been lost. God had kept it all. Daniel rushed back when he heard the news. When he entered the house and saw so many people caring for his mother, his heart broke open. Sitting beside her bed, he wept and said, "Mother, you are never alone." Martha smiled weakly and whispered, "God never takes love away. He only moves it." After she recovered, Daniel begged her to come live with him in the city. Afraid of losing her, Martha prayed Fiki and felt peace. She believed God was opening another door. City life was loud and crowded. At times, Martha still felt lonely inside the apartment. But one day, Daniel took her to a home for orphan children. When he told her she could help there, Martha felt tears fill her eyes. She knew God had answered her loneliness once again. She cooked, told stories, prayed softly, and held children when they cried. They began to call her Grandma Martha, and her heart felt full in a new and deeper way. Years passed. Martha grew weaker, but her spirit remained strong. When she passed away peacefully, children, neighbors, workers, and even strangers came to honor her life. Daniel stood quietly, finally understanding that his mother's lonely seasons were never empty. They were guided. And this is the lesson. When God makes you feel lonely, He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. He removes the noise so you can hear love more clearly. He removes people so your heart can grow wider. If you feel lonely today, remember this: God may be shaping you into a light for someone else. Love given through God never disappears, it only finds new places to live.